Welcome to We've Got a Country to Save, brought to you by Freedom Chat, an AmFed coin and bullion. Freedom Chat has true end-to-end encryption, no storage of messages on the server, and no commercial use of user data. That way you can speak freely and message privately. Download the app today and subscribe to my Freedom Chat channel at Larry Elder for exclusive posts and never-before-seen content. We also think Impactful Pictures, Old Glory Bank, Patriot Mobile, and MyPillow. Please be sure to like and subscribe to our podcast. Make sure to follow or subscribe to my channel on whatever platform you are using, whether X, YouTube, Facebook, or Rumble. Please patronize our sponsors so we can keep bringing you these incredible videos. And if you don't patronize our sponsors, well,
that's where you belong. Wake up!
We know where you live. Tough day at the office for our man in the street, William Porter Nelson III.
That mustache, you look so gay.
You like the mustache?
Yeah.
I look so gay. What's wrong with being gay? You have a gay pride shirt on.
Nothing.
Are you using that as an insult?
You're a proud boy, aren't you?
Wait, you just told me I look so gay. Is that an insult?
No, it's not an insult.
So then why did you feel compelled to tell me that?
Oh, you have beautiful skin.
Oh, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
So this woman wearing a gay pride shirt just came up to tell me I look so gay.
Out of your mouth. Take Trump's out of your mouth. Take Trump's out of your mouth. Take Trump's out of your mouth. Take Trump's
MAGA, off. MAGA, off, MAGA.
What is this? What is this?
I've.
You're walking around the microphone.
We'll talk to you. Would you like to speak to us?
Fascist.
Take Trump's out of your mouth. A nasty sunburn. Take Trump's. Take Trump's. Take Trump's out of your mouth. 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 Take Trump's out of your mouth.
Fascist.
Take Trump's out of your mouth. 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 Take Trump's.
Now about Abrego Garcia's alleged lack of due process.
The other point I would make is that Chris says Mr. Garcia's had no due process. He's been in front of 17 judges, some of them twice. Probably $5 million worth of legal fees, and he hadn't had to pay a dime. Final point I'd make, look, this was a screw-up, in my opinion. The administration won't admit it, but this was a screw-up. Mr. Garcia was not supposed to be sent to El Salvador. He was sent to El Salvador. The Democrats saying, look, you know, we told you Trump is a threat to democracy. This is going to happen every other Thursday afternoon. I don't see any pattern here. I mean, you know, someday pigs may fly, but I doubt it.
Kilmar Abrego Garcia spoke out today. Watch this.
They have to facilitate his return. And once they do so, they are most welcome to put up any of this evidence in court. But to justify their own admitted mistake by trying to find all these justifications, reasons, dirty laundry is just really saddening, disingenuous, and frightening.
Well, she looks like she's just out of law school, God bless her. But is it just dirty laundry, Jonathan, that we're talking about here? I mean, these are pretty serious matters. You know, questions of domestic abuse, findings of MS-13 affiliation, and so forth.
Yeah, the point is that I think mature minds have got to prevail ultimately in this. He has had due process in the sense that he had an earlier hearing that found evidence that he was an MS-13 member that was based on a confidential source and other information presented by the government. It went on appeal. That ruling was upheld, but he was allowed to stay in the country due to the threats that he said were coming from an opposing gang and under a special rule that may no longer be applicable. So there was a process. Now, that doesn't mean that the administration shouldn't have brought him back. But if he's brought back, I don't see any basis in which he could stay here for very long. I think the administration has very good cause to go back and to really show that the original order is based on conditions that no longer exist.
Yeah, come back, and 24 hours later, he's deported again.
What do you make of all this? This is the same Democrat Senator Van Hollen who voted along with 36 or so Democrat senators against the Laken Riley Act, walked out of President Trump's joint session address when the president talked about women murdered by illegal aliens. What do we know about Garcia?
Well, it's absolutely appalling that this is where Senator Van Hollen and many Democrats, the many that are down there right now, want to focus their efforts on an individual who certainly has MS-13 ties, and I 100% believe, 1,000% believe him to be an MS-13 member from everything I've read out of the police reports and what has been released. This isn't just an average person on the street. This is somebody that the police have looked at and been able to tie, and 2 immigration judges have tied him to MS-13. This just isn't a victim of circumstance, of unfortunate circumstance. This is an individual who should not be in our country, who was ordered for removal, and the mistake being apparently he couldn't be removed to El Salvador. I agree with one of the earlier guests I saw in an earlier program. If that's the case, then take him to the embassy in El Salvador, do the paperwork, and move him somewhere else. But he does not need to be in this country victimizing the citizens here.
He was living in Maryland, designated MS-13 terrorist, and Donald Trump deported him. How does that make you feel?
I feel safer.
He gotta go. He gotta go.
Need to go. I mean, that's it.
But he was a father.
But he's still a terrorist.
Okay. I mean, but there's children living without fathers now.
He should have picked and choose, so he picked to be a terrorist instead of worrying about his children.
The Democrats, they want him back. They say he was wrongfully deported. He has a wife and a kid who's a citizen. They're calling this a national emergency. Is this a national emergency?
I wouldn't call it a national emergency. We got more things going on.
We have more things, more fish to fry.
I just found out about it, so I don't think so. What kind of national emergency? For what? What is the emergency for?
Ain't no national emergency, no.
He was accused of hitting his wife twice and was a suspected human smuggler. Was he wrongfully deported?
No. He need to go.
If he's a smuggler, yeah, he need to be deported.
It's better to be safe than sorry.
Your senator here, Chris Van Hollen, he flew to El Salvador where this guy was deported. He met with them, had lunch with them, had margaritas on the table. What's up with your senator?
I have no idea, but I do believe that was a waste of taxpayer dollars.
Margaritas.
You agreeing with somebody whipping their wife, terrorizing where you live, then you don't need to live here either.
Senator Van Hollen, you need to come see me, Mr. Coley, because you doing like that. You need to take care of home before you go in other states.
He went to El Salvador.
Oh, that's another country, excuse me.
What has Senator Chris Van Hollen ever done for you?
Nothing.
Nothing.
For me, nothing.
Nothing that I know of.
He ain't do me. I can admit that.
I've never even heard of this person.
Do you want Kilmar Abrego Garcia, this quote-unquote Maryland dad, living back in Maryland?
No. No.
No. No.
Not if he's doing trafficking, no.
Why the I want somebody like that back? No.
What is your message to the Democrats who really want him back in your community?
Why would you want that in my community? Bring it to your community and see how long you like it up there.
Leave him, or y'all go over there with him.
You're focused on the wrong thing.
Now, did Tim Wall's daughter compare Abrego Garcia to Jesus?
If Jesus were alive today and in the United States, this administration would have already taken him and removed him from this country without due process, claimed he was a member of the MS-13 gang as a way to try to justify not giving him due process, as if there is any justifiable reason to not giving somebody due process. But yeah, some people don't want to talk about that. It truly is baffling how clear and laid out everything is, and there is still people standing by it. I believe in the good of people and like humanity, humans, deep down at our core, like we care about each other. But that's really being tested, because how anyone is okay with this is terrifying to me. But yeah, if you look like me, speak up, speak out, because we might be the only ones safe from what's coming and some of the only people that are able to stop it. So yeah, it's our duty at this point.
Rutrow warning the Trump haters. Most Americans agree with Trump on mass deportation.
Deport all undocumented immigrants. Voters favoring the government trying to deport all 11 million of them. Back in 2016, just 38% of voters wanted the government to try to deport all 11 million undocumented immigrants. Compared to where we are in 2025, 56%, the majority. The American people have come a long way on this issue, much closer to Donald Trump, and I think that's a big part of the reason why Americans are increasingly saying the country is on the right track when it comes to immigration policy, and why Donald Trump's net approval rating on that issue is in the positive.
I'm calling Trump on you, you illegal mother.
Can you say Trump derangement syndrome?
Yo, leave my leave my cameraman alone, dude. Leave my cameraman alone. Leave my cameraman alone. No, just this is a cameraman. Don't come up and physically harass him and intimidate him.
Guys together? Is he with
I
you?
just said, leave my cameraman alone. What didn't you understand about
Take
your husband or whatever this guy is coming up and physically intimidating my cameraman? You leave the cameraman alone. What's wrong with you, man? That's my question to you. What's wrong with you?
Nothing's wrong with me.
Nothing's wrong with you? You think this is normal behavior? You think this is normal behavior?
Take Trump's
Not even here.
And these guys have been, I'm more than happy to be nice. These guys have been following me for 20 minutes. This is nice. He's covering.
We don't have to swear, but
I completely agree with you, ma'am. And I'd love to speak with you.
Camera. He's hitting me with his camera. Why is that?
You have followed me for 20 minutes and we've documented the whole thing.
Standing still.
Okay, then you stay right here. You stay here, cameraman. Follow me.
Hit me with the camera, man.
Why are you hitting him
You just
with
hit
the
me with your
camera?
camera. Why is he hitting me with your camera?
Why did he hit you with the camera?
What's going on? Why are you guys? What's going on?
With your
Why are you
camera?
here?
Why are you hitting people with your camera?
Why don't you get the fuck out of here? Why don't you get out of here? You're not welcome. You're not welcome. You're not welcome. You're not welcome. Go home, Nazis. Go home, Nazis. Go home, Nazis. Go home, Nazis.
Stop touching my cameraman.
These guys are hitting people. Go home. You're not welcome.
Go home, Nazis.
You're not welcome.
Go home, Nazis. Go home, Nazis. Go home, Nazis. Go home, Nazis.
Why is your hand shaking?
Go home, Nazis.
Why is your hand shaking? Why is your hand shaking? Why is your hand shaking? Why is your hand shaking?
And speaking of Trump derangement syndrome, ladies and gentlemen, I give you Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett.
So I want to exercise a point of personal privilege right now. I'm going to play a really quick clip for you, Congresswoman, and ask you a question on the other side. Take a watch and listen. My next guest. Joining me now is Texas State Representative Jasmine Crockett. Representative, so happy to have you here. I know you had a busy day yesterday. Well, Texas State Representative Jasmine Crockett, thank you for being here and thanks for all of your advocacy. We appreciate it. Okay, that was you and I 3 years ago. That was your first time on the Katie Fang Show. This is the second to the last episode of the show. Congresswoman, I wanted to thank you for always getting up and early and delivering it, but I also want to say thank you for your continuing support for democracy. It's definitely something that you have made your brand, and it's the integrity that you're bringing, and I'm grateful for you always. We'll miss you. Oh. You can't have me crying at the beginning of a show, Jasmine. Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, you haven't seen the last of me. Thank you for being here and getting us started today. I always appreciate you. Thank you.
Let me get this straight. Biden lets in a minimum of 10 million illegal aliens, and the courts do absolutely nothing to stop him. Trump shuts this down in 1 month, and the courts are doing everything to stop him. Trump did this in 1 month without any new legislation, but he gets no credit.
Stroke of a pen, he has revived the harsh and inhumane policies of his previous administration, such as the Remain in Mexico program, eliminated enforcement priorities, sharply reduced the availability of humanitarian parole, begun dismantling the refugee program, and launched a breathtaking assault on the Constitution by attempting to end birthright citizenship. But the Trump administration's policy of mass deportation and destroying legal pathways, wrapped as always in a blanket of hateful rhetoric, will not fix our broken immigration system. It will only make it harder to reach the bipartisan comprehensive solutions that are so desperately needed. Mr. Beer, thank you for being here today. Republicans are using this hearing to lay the foundation for their own anti-immigration agenda. Mr. Beard, does it make sense to send children who are born in the United States to countries that they don't know, may never have been to, and where they have no support network?
No, it absolutely does not. It makes the country weaker. It discourages legal immigration. It discourages high-skilled immigration. Look, when I talk to a lot of high-skilled immigrants in this country, they talk about their family. They talk about the hope they have for their children to be Americans, to grow up in this country and to contribute to this country. And we should want them here. We should want to encourage them to stay. And one of the greatest things the United States has ever done is have birthright citizenship, because it encourages assimilation. Everyone who's born here knows I'm an American. I can participate in our democracy and contribute to this country.
And contrary to the president's assertion that only one country has birthright citizenship, 33 do. I yield back.
Mr. Hunt.
Hey, Mr. Chairman. Biden wanted you to think that it was normal to live in an America with open borders, to live in an America with sanctuary cities, to fly 30,000 people per month from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela into America on commercial flights, to turn temporary protected status into permanent protected status. That is not normal. It is not constitutional. And now, thank God, it's over. Do you want to know what is normal? President Trump's policies are normal, and he's back. And he is here to help. Within hours of Trump's taking office, President Trump deleted the CBP One app, reformed the parole program, and placed a real border czar, Tom Homan, in charge. And he is a serious man. Trump also signed a flurry of executive orders restoring normal border security and immigration standards to this great nation. Again, thank God he's back. When Trump got elected, we knew that the liberal media we knew exactly what they would do, because they do the same thing during the previous Trump administration. We knew that they would attempt to pull our heartstrings to shame us into changing our standard immigration laws. In fact, on the day that President Trump got inaugurated, the liberal media posted a story of a woman crying when her CBP One app appointment was canceled. That tactic is not going to work this time, because we have seen firsthand for the last 4 years the devastating effects that Biden's border policies have had on all Americans. And while I empathize with everyone who wants to come to America, because again, we know this is the greatest place in the world, this compassion is misplaced, as it usually is with the left. The woman's tears that I care the most about are the mothers of Lincoln Riley, Jocelyn Nungary, and Rachel Morin. Lincoln Riley was killed by an illegal alien while out on a jog. It should be known that her killer committed a crime in another American city, but he was released because that city, you guessed it, was a sanctuary city. Jocelyn, while on her way to a convenience store, was killed by 2 illegal aliens who entered through the southern border just a few months earlier. At the time, these illegal aliens were still wearing their U.S.-issued ankle tracking monitors when they killed her. Miss Morin, a young mother of 5 children, was hiking on the Maryland Trail when an illegal alien attacked and killed her. And I could sadly name many more circumstances just like this. I don't know about other countries, but in America, our daughters, and I have 2 of them, should be able to go for a jog and a run or to a convenience store without the fear of an illegal alien killing them. That goes for all of our children in this nation. I serve this country to protect my children and our sons and daughters.
Did you know that trillions of data records were exposed in 2024? From the AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile data breach that exposed the text records of over 100 million Americans, to the Change Healthcare data breach, or even more recently, a hacking group claims to have stolen every single American Social Security number. People are confused, concerned, and off about the invasion of privacy that's currently going on. And yet, despite these concerns, many people continue to use messaging apps that claim to be private and secure. But are they? These apps also track your location, time spent on the app, your activities within the app, your browser, phone type, carrier, and even other identifiers such as your financial information and political affiliation. Newsflash, if you're not being charged for an app, you are the product. Your data is being collected and used, often without your permission and in ways you might not even realize. Here to tell you more is advisor, board member, and renowned radio and TV host, Larry Elder.
Freedom Chat is a private social messenger that allows you to message who you want and subscribe to the channels you want, all in complete and total privacy. With true end-to-end encryption, soon to be quantum-safe encryption, no storage of messages on your servers, and absolutely no commercial use of user data. Your conversations and your data belong to you, not big tech, not governments, not malicious hackers. Is Freedom Chat, Tanner, easy to use? Am I good at tennis? You see, with Freedom Chat, you can edit, unsend, and self-destruct messages, share images, videos, or GIFs.
It's GIFs.
GIFs?
GIFs.
Really?
It's GIFs.
It's not GIFs?
No, it's GIFs.
When did they change it? Prevent screenshots and customize fonts and colors, and enable dark mode, all from one user-friendly dashboard.
Our team is working incredibly hard to make our dreams a reality, and we want you to join us.
Don't watch from the sidelines. Invest in freedom, invest in your privacy, and be a part of history.
Speak freely and message privately with Freedom Chat.
Download the app today. GIFs?
GIFs.
Honestly?
GIFs.
GIFs?
GIFs.
What does it stand for? It stands for I have a lot of choices about who I work with in the precious metals industry, and so do you. I really love the fact that for over 45 years, AmFed Coin and Bullion has been serving buyers and sellers of coins and precious metals. AmFed has earned a reputation for providing helpful information, transparency, and fair pricing. Nick Grovich is especially hands-on. He believes that educated consumers make strong investors. Nick is upfront and transparent about AmFed's commission structure. The typical markup, only 3 to 7% compared to many dealers that may charge as high as 35% or even more. That is a remarkable difference. When you are choosing to invest in gold, it's important to be wise in whom you choose to execute that investment. Call AmFed Coin and Bullion today, 1-800-221-7694, or go to AmericanFederal.com. If you're in the Phoenix area, make an appointment to visit them in person as I did. You will be impressed. That's 1-800-221-7694, or go to AmericanFederal.com. A word about all those who called Biden sharp as a tack.
In fact, I think he's better than he's ever been. Intellectually, analytically, because he's been around for 50 years. And, you know, I don't know if people know this or not, Biden used to be a hothead. Sometimes that Irishman would get in front of the reasoning. Sometimes he would say things he didn't want to say. This is, and I don't really, you know what, I don't really care. Start your tape right now, because I'm about to tell you the truth. And F you if you can't handle the truth. This version of Biden, intellectually, analytically, is the best Biden ever. Not a close second. And I've known him for years. The Brzezinskis have known him for 50 years. If it weren't the truth, I wouldn't say it.
How it is hard for us to keep up with this president who is constantly working every day to get things done and making sure that we are delivering for the American people. And I think that's what matters.
Yes, there was a slow start, but it was a strong finish. And what became very clear through the course of the night is that Joe Biden is fighting on behalf of the American people, on substance, on policy, on performance. Joe Biden is extraordinarily strong. And
but I'm sorry, on
cannot
substance
be
and
debated.
policy and performance tonight, I mean, the president's performance tonight clearly was disappointing for his supporters. CNN is reporting Democratic lawmakers watching the debate were worried about the president's performance. One said it was a disaster. Another called it a train wreck. Those are Democrats
especially worried that Biden did not punch back on Trump's lies.
Listen, people can debate on style points. Biden is an extremely accomplished, experienced, and capable in every way that anyone would want if they're president.
And you never saw anything like what happened at the debate night behind closed doors with him?
It was a bad debate. People have bad debates. He is absolutely...
But that's the reason why you're here, and he's not running for the top of the ticket.
Well, you'd have to ask him if that's the only reason why.
What do you think?
I am running for president of the United States. Joe Biden is not.
He's not stable?
He's not stable.
Let me ask you this. You told many interviewers that Joe Biden was on his game, that ran around circles on his staff. When did you first notice that President Biden's mental faculties appeared diminished?
Joe Biden, I have watched from the Oval Office to the Situation Room, and he has the judgment and the experience to do exactly what he has done in making very important decisions on behalf of the American people.
There were no concerns raised?
Brett, Joe Biden is not on the ballot.
Really?
Do you regret saying that President Biden had a mental acuity? He had a sharpness to him. You said that up until July of last year.
I said what I believe to be true.
And you think he was as sharp as you?
I said I had not seen decline. And I hadn't at that point.
You did not see any decline from 2024 Joe Biden to 2021 Joe Biden?
Not when I said that. You know, the thing is, he was sharp. He was on his feet. I saw him. Live event. I had meetings with him a couple of times.
Senator, on his feet is not praise. He can speak in sentences is not praise.
All right. Fair enough. Fair enough.
I do stand by it, and I say this without any personal animus at all. I mean, in some ways, I actually kind of feel sorry for Joe Biden. I mean, he's in the twilight years of his life. He is not, obviously, has not been in charge for some time. And I know this by personal observation, and now the whole world knows it. And it's been very, very concerning to me over the last, year and a half since I've had this position.
Can you tell us a story when you say personal observation? What kind
well,
of
I
thing
mean,
did you see?
It's public now because the Wall Street Journal got it and put it on the front page. But January a year ago, almost exactly a year ago, I became Speaker in October 2023, and there were all sorts of big national security concerns and everything going on, and I started requesting a meeting with the President because, I'm kind of old school. I'm a constitutional law guy. The Speaker of the House should be able to talk to the President, especially in times of great national interest and calamity. But they wouldn't let me meet with him, and his staff kept giving me excuses. This went on for like 8 or 9 weeks. I'm sorry, Mr. Speaker, he doesn't have time. What are you talking about? I'm second in line of the presidency. He has time. I need to talk to him. We had, I can't say the classified parts, but we had some big national concerns at the time that I was losing sleep over. Finally, I just went to the Hill Press Corps and I said, the President is not being allowed to meet with the Speaker. There's a problem. So they started putting pressure on him. Long story short, they finally relented. They invited me to the White House. I show up and I realize it's actually an ambush because it's not just me and the President. It's also Kamala Harris, Chuck Schumer, Hakeem, the CIA director, everybody. And then, so I walked in the Oval and, I know what this is. They're going to hotbox the Speaker on Ukraine funding. That's what it was. This is probably third week of January. We sit down, we're in the midst of it, and the whole conversation, and I'm going, we don't need to have this conversation. The President reaches over just like this. We're sitting right next to the fireplace in the Oval, and he grabs my arm and he says, the Speaker and I just need a couple minutes together. Would y'all just leave us alone? And I looked up on the faces of some of the staff standing around the wall, and they're like, oh, no, he did it. So he called it. He's the Commander-in-Chief. So everybody leaves, and he and I are standing awkwardly in the middle of the Oval Office right over the rug by that coffee table. And I said, Mr. President, thanks for the moments. This is very important. I got some big national security things I need to talk to you about that I've heard, and I think you know, and what do we do? But first, real quickly, Mr. President, can I ask you a question? I cannot answer this from my constituents in Louisiana. Sir, why did you pause LNG exports to Europe? Like, I don't understand, liquefied natural gas is in great demand by our allies. Why would you do that? Because you understand, we just talked about Ukraine. You understand you're fueling Vladimir Putin's war machine because they got to get their gas from him, And he looks at me, stunned with this, and he said, I didn't do that. And I said, Mr. President, yes, you did. It was an executive order, like, 3 weeks ago. And he goes, no, I didn't do that. And he's arguing with me. I said, Mr. President, respectfully, could I go out here and ask your secretary to print it out? We'll read it together. You definitely did that. And he goes, oh, you talk about natural gas. Yes, sir. He said, no, you misunderstand. He said, what I did is I signed this thing we're gonna conduct a study on the effects of LNG. I said, no, you're not, sir. You paused it. I know. I have the export terminals in my state. I talked to those people this morning. This is doing massive damage to our economy, national security. It occurred to me, Barry, he was not lying to me. He genuinely did not know what he had signed. And I walked out of that meeting with fear and loathing because I thought, we're in serious trouble. Who is running the country? Like, I don't know who put the paper in front of him, but he didn't know.
Thank you, Caroline. There's been more reporting coming out now about President Biden's decline while in the White House. Is the White House considering releasing the audio of Biden's interview with Special Counsel Robert Hur to the public, which the former president had previously blocked?
I don't have an update on that, but I can certainly check. I think the American people would be quite interested to hear that tape, but I'll double check on the release of it.
And this is the former press secretary for Dr. Jill Biden.
All right, amid Biden's reemergence, Trump, Michael, seems to be stronger than ever. A new NBC poll finds that 36% of all registered voters identified themselves now as MAGA supporters. That's up 16 points from January 2024 in the NBC poll. 71% of Republicans call themselves MAGA supporters, according to the data. Michael, are you surprised by this?
No, I'm not. You know why? Because I've never seen a politician, let alone a president, let us into the presidency or into the office as often and as frequently as Trump does, taking questions multiple times a day from reporters of various outlets. And being very just reactionary to the news of the day in a good way. You always know what he's thinking, and that allows us, the public, to get to know him and see what he's doing. It's accessible. Transparent, another word I can't answer. We'll know at the end of his term, but he's definitely the most accessible president we've ever seen, and that's probably why he's doing very well in the polls. I wish Biden had done more of it.
Are you kidding? As if making Biden more accessible would have been a shrewd move?
You've done well so far, but up until now, I've only been using a mere 5% of my power. Now let's see how well you fare against my Biden blast.
Get me, Mumbles.
It's better than when he left office. And I'm going to continue to move until we get the total ban on the total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more Border Patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either.
She knows so long as she was denied, our freedom can never be secured.
Would you run it by me one more time?
She knows so long as she was denied, our freedom can never be secured.
Run that by me one more time to make sure that I heard you right.
She knows so long as she was denied. The idea that we become semi-isolationists now, which some are talking about, I mean, the idea we had to wait all those months just to get the money for Iraq because we were waiting, I mean, it's not who we are. And no president, no former president, not me, not one, should have been given any exception to this. Ladies and gentlemen, President Putin. President Putin. You can beat President Putin. President Zelensky. I'm so focused on beating Putin, we got to worry about it. Anyway, all men and women created by you know the thing.
A recent poll finds that AOC is a frontrunner for the 2028 presidential Democrat nomination.
What do you think of the new leadership, Jasmine, AOC, and Bernie?
I consider Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez to be the leader of the Democratic Party. She's entitled to her opinion. I'm entitled to mine. As I've said about her before, I think she's the reason there are directions on a shampoo bottle. And our plan for dealing with her...
You didn't plan that out. We got to hurry.
Our plan for dealing with her is called Operation Let Her Speak.
What would happen to the Democrats in 2028 if they nominated AOC? Looks like I'm not the only one who wonders why the media undercovered the story about New York AG Letitia James being investigated for mortgage fraud.
One of the most undercovered, in my view, legal stories right now is the fact that the New York Attorney General, Letitia James, could be charged with a crime for mortgage fraud. Now, let me tell you, when I first heard that the Attorney General had been referred, there was a criminal referral made by the director of Federal Housing and Finance Agency, my initial response was, oh boy, here we go. Trump is just weaponizing the departments, and in this case, making a reference to the DOJ, and I'm sure this is all nonsense. And then I actually read what they were alleging. This is real. This is serious. And I think this could mean big trouble for the Attorney General. I don't know, but let me lay out for you what we know about the story so far. William Pulte, who is the director of the Federal Housing Finance Agency, wrote a letter to Attorney General Pam Bondi alleging that Letitia James has, quote, in multiple instances falsified bank documents and property records to acquire government-backed assistance and loans and more favorable loan terms. Now, obviously, if she's doing this, this isn't just trouble for her legally. It's also, just reeks of hypocrisy because of what she's been saying about Donald Trump in going after him for the way he was dishonestly seeking loans, etc. The allegation is as follows: that Attorney General James may have falsified her residence status at a home in Norfolk, Virginia, to get a better mortgage rate. Again, the claim against Trump was that he was falsifying records to get a better loan. According to Pulte, in 2023, she granted a guy named Seamus Thompson Hairston power of attorney to make the Norfolk property, which was purchased in August of 2023, her, quote, principal residence, despite the fact that she was living and serving as Attorney General in New York at that time. Quote, at the time of the 2023 Norfolk, Virginia property purchase and mortgage, Ms. James was the sitting Attorney General of New York and is required by law to have her primary residence in the state of New York, even though her mortgage applications list her intent to have the Norfolk, Virginia property as her primary home. He also alleges, this is a second allegation, that she bought a 5-family property in Brooklyn in 2001 with a loan that is only available for homes with 4 units or less. Spanning the last 2 decades, Ms. James has consistently misrepresented the same property as only having 4 units in both building permit applications and numerous mortgage documents and applications, he wrote. It appears, quote, that Ms. James may have listed the Brooklyn, New York property as 4 units instead of 5 units in order to meet the conforming loan requirements and thus receive better rates. It alleges that James and her father signed mortgage documents in 1983 stating that they were husband and wife. Quote, Ms. James, for both properties listed above, appears to have falsified records in order to meet certain lending requirements and receive favorable loan terms. He concluded it could lead to charges such as wire fraud, mail fraud, and bank fraud. And the problem with that is the statute of limitations has expired on that. So the idea that something happened in 1983 is really just a way to stick it to her. But you're going to play in the big leagues? You're going to make the kind of allegations that she makes? You better be ready to play.
So you heard me talk about Patriot Mobile for a while now. You probably already know that for years, they've stood in the gap for every American who believes that faith, family, and freedom are worth fighting for. They are the real deal. But did you know they've got cutting-edge technology too? Switching is easy. No store visits, no hassle. Keep your number, keep your phone, or upgrade. Their 100% U.S.-based team can activate you in minutes right over the phone. And get this, Patriot Mobile is one of the few carriers with access to all 3 major U.S. networks. That means exceptional nationwide coverage, plus they can even put a second number on a different network on one phone. It's like carrying two phones in one. They have unlimited data plans, mobile hotspots, international roaming, internet on-the-go devices, and home internet backup. You can't get this from the big guys. So what are you waiting for? Make the switch today and experience the Patriot Mobile difference. Go to patriotmobile.com/Larry or call 972-PATRIOT, and right now use promo code Larry for a free month of service. Switch to Patriot Mobile and defend freedom with every call and text you make. That's patriotmobile.com/Larry or call 972-PATRIOT. MyPillow is excited to announce that they are extending the mega sale on overstock clearance and brand new products. This is your chance to grab incredible deals on some of MyPillow's most popular and newly released items. For example, save $40 on the new spring MyPillow bed sheets available in any size and color. These luxurious sheets are designed for maximum comfort and breathability, perfect for a great night's sleep. Looking for a meaningful gift? Save 30% on the brand new My Crosses, inspired by the one Mike has worn every day for over 20 years. These beautifully crafted crosses come in both men's and women's designs and are proudly made right here in the good old US of A. Get the 6-piece bath or kitchen towel sets for just $39.98. Initial quantities are extremely limited, so do not wait. And don't forget the best-selling standard MyPillow, now just $17.98. Plus, orders over $75 ship free. Go to MyPillow.com and use promo code Larry or call 800-890-1843 to order right now. That's MyPillow.com, promo code Larry, or call 800-890-1843 to order right now. Alert! Don't say mankind. It's humankind.
You heard Amanda Wynn tell me in the interview that she's conducting science experiments on this voyage, which I don't think a lot of people knew. Right. They thought it was just 6 women going up into space for a joyride.
Wait, what do you mean just 6 women?
Well, that's what I mean. That was the criticism.
6 women.
That's right.
Exactly.
Right. But he's speaking to the perspective and some of the narratives that are out there that I was hoping to correct with this interview, and I'm glad that you're here to help me correct that narrative. So explain to our audience why even a trip like this one, all the trips that we take into space benefit mankind.
So it benefits humankind, and I'm going to keep correcting the mankind and the man-made and the man missions, because this is exactly what this mission is about, is expanding the perspective of who does space.
This astronaut probably doesn't want to have a conversation with Megyn Kelly.
The montage of them about them. Let's watch.
Out there, it's dark. It's like death. And I'm so proud of us. I really am proud of me.
Flowers for me, I believe, are like God's laughter and God's smile. And I brought a daisy because I have so much love for my daughter Daisy, and I have so much love for Mother Earth.
It just says to me, if I can do this, I was telling these guys, I might even now get my ears pierced. I've never gotten my ears pierced because that hurts.
I hope they can see the unity that we modeled and replicate that and understand that we weren't just taking up space, we were making space for the future. Yeah.
Oh my God.
10 out of 10 review.
I am woman, hear me roar. In numbers too big to ignore.
EPA head Lee Zeldin held a press conference and detailed several examples of waste, fraud, and abuse. He then confronted a New York Times reporter who said there was no evidence of waste, fraud, and abuse.
How is that zero evidence? How is that no evidence? How can any paper, Politico has written it, Washington Post has written it, the New York Times has written it, others have written that there's no evidence. And now we're all together, and I'm glad that we are. And it's, it's April 21st? It's April 21st, 2025. Why should any story get written after today that says no evidence? Go ahead.
Just a question, sir. Oh, sorry. Thanks, Lisa Friedman with the New York Times. Where has a judge said that this is fraud?
I'm saying New York Times said it, Lisa. Lisa, if New York Times is going to write that there is no evidence.
Not true, sir. We've written that that judges have not found.
Okay, over the last few months, Lee Zeldin, Administrator of the Environmental Protection Agency, has made explosive, you know this because you wrote it, has made explosive accusations against the Biden administration, accusing it of insane malfeasance in its handling of $20 billion in climate grants. Now, as a legal battle ensues over those funds, many of Mr. Zeldin's claims remain unsupported and some are flat out false. Why wouldn't you write that there is any evidence?
Could you point us to where the judges have found that there's waste, fraud,
Oh,
and
see,
abuse,
it's
sir?
not that easy for you, Lisa. See, because you guys are writing stories. These are your words. These aren't the judge's words. So if you want to ask the question, I'm referring to one of your stories. And this came out before the judge's decision came out. Now, if you were to, did you read the judge's 39-page decision?
Sir, with all
Have
due
you read the
respect,
39-page decision?
We've read the decision. We are basing our reporting on judges' rulings before then and since, and I'm just asking you, sir, where has the judge found that there's waste, fraud, and abuse?
So you read the 39-page decision supporting a preliminary injunction? What? It's okay if you say no.
Yeah, no, I've read all of it.
Okay, that's okay. Nowhere in it does it acknowledge anything that I just said. It doesn't even acknowledge it. So if the New York Times wants to say that there is no evidence, and Politico wants to say it, and Washington Post wants to say it, and others want to say that there's no evidence, see, I have a job to make sure that I don't waste tax dollars. And then for people in the media to be willing to sacrifice your own integrity and the integrity of your paper to make a claim that there's no evidence supporting it, well, I could stand here before you, and I just went through a list of how many things did I just mention? 10? I don't know what the list is. And then you'll go out and write a story saying that there's no evidence of any wrongdoing. I have a duty to make sure that we don't light on fire billions of dollars of tax dollars. And I am, as administrator of EPA, not going to stand before any member of the media and get bullied into lighting billions of dollars on fire. And then you'll continue to write these stories that say that there is no evidence, even though I could stand before you right now and just go through the list. How do you square that?
May I ask, sir, do you feel confident that a court will uphold?
I'm asking you, how do you square that? You guys are writing the stories. Shouldn't you write the story about what kind of evidence has been put out? Why not write the story? Why not write the story that says, hey, here's the 25 things that Administrator Zeldin says that he calls evidence, and then you could be critical of it if you want to. But how about instead of why would you not write that story?
Could you speak though to why a judge has not supported this, has not said yes?
The district court judge didn't even have jurisdiction to hear the case. Why the judge writes a 39-page opinion and doesn't even acknowledge that this even exists? Go read page 29. Oh, this is a good one. You're a reporter for the New York Times. You're probably going to be all over this. Look at footnote 7 on page 29.
I will. Okay,
and the judge says that there was no action, no amendment that was made post-election. Well, I mean, I'm looking forward to the story that says, well, what about January 13th of 2025, 1 week before inauguration? The accounts were being amended. And then talk about what the amendment was. It was an amendment to reduce EPA oversight, to make it harder to conduct oversight. The judge actually says that nothing happened after the election. So I am imagining that you are going to be filled with so much outrage when you read that footnote to the judge's opinion that says that that doesn't even exist.
My brand new documentary, Electric Vehicles, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, was released this week on Earth Day. You can view it on salemnow.com. Here's a short clip. I have an old gasoline-powered car. It's a 1989 Mercedes that I bought brand new. I bought the Mercedes as a gift to Larry Elder for the hard work I put into my company that I started in 1980. Worked long hours, so when I finally got enough money, I went to the dealership on the west side of Cleveland. I walked in, I had a pair of jeans on and a t-shirt. I think they thought I wasn't the kind of person who had enough money to buy the car. Finally, one kind of sauntered up and said, "May I help you?" And I said, "I'll take that car." He said, "You mean you want a test drive?" I said, "No, I'll take it." He said, "You mean you want me to sit down and we figure out how to fund it?" I said, "No, I'll pay cash, but I'm ready to take it." He was stunned, probably the fastest sale he ever made. And after that, I drove it home, and I've had it ever since.
Carbon pollution. The governor's new order will include a ban on the sale of new internal combustion engine personal vehicles here in the state by the year 2035.
17 states have adopted California's low-emission vehicle standards.
When I first began hearing this business about net zero emissions and that gasoline-powered cars are a threat to the planet and that there's this big push for electric vehicles, I felt conflicted. I love my gasoline-powered cars, but I don't like being told what to do. I don't want the planet to be damaged, and frankly, I have a healthy skepticism regarding experts.
It was 2 years ago that California governor first issued an executive order including that 2035 target.
In the next 15 years, we will eliminate in the state of California the sales of internal combustion engines.
There are short-term targets.
So I just don't know what to believe. I'm born in LA. Been in talk radio for about 30 years, been in television for about 40 years. I ran for office, I ran for governor of California. I'm an author, best-selling author, New York Times bestseller. Well, I've always been a truth seeker. I don't think I could come up with any particular person or time or book or Big Bang that made me that way. I can't tell you why, but it's always been that way. Do you think EVs are better for the planet than gas-powered cars?
I think so. Yes.
Probably not.
Yes.
No. I don't think so.
Yes, I think so, yeah.
I mean, it's hard to say.
Everybody should have an electric car.
Yeah, electric is probably the best way to go.
I mean, less pollution.
If you didn't have to make the batteries, maybe. They're toxic, period. I mean, don't they mine them?
Oh, it's not biodegradable. Absolutely better for the environment.
That's a very complex question.
There's still a lot of research needs to be done.
If I was to buy a car, it would be...
Yeah, I think so.
Somebody's profiting somewhere.
Control.
I think it's a good idea.
Going to lead to chaos. I think that's ridiculous.
That would be fine.
No, I don't.
Maybe. Definitely.
No.
Yes.
No. Much like my understanding, the perception of electric vehicles among the general public is a mixed bag. Two of the biggest car shows in the world, the LA Auto Show and the Electrify Expo, were fast approaching. So I decided to go. As I drove to the car shows, listening to my powerful gas engine, I felt I was taking a journey into the unknown. It was like stepping into the future, where science fiction meets reality. The place was filled with electric vehicle fans, car industry veterans, and people like me still sitting on the fence.
Why isn't your bank asking, what's in your heart? When big banks cancel your account because they don't like your politics, or they share your transaction data with the government, it's no wonder they don't ask what's in your heart. That's not what they care about. Old Glory Bank is different. We're the pro-America online bank that protects your privacy, security, and liberty. Started by Dr. Ben Carson, Larry Elder, and John Rich, we proudly serve customers in all 50 states. Open your account in minutes at oldglorybank.com. We stand with you.
Brand new shirt at LarryElderShop.com. The black face of white supremacy, featuring a striking design inspired by the Terminator. This isn't just merch, it's a message. A message to the media, the elites, and the race-baiting left. You can't cancel that which won't quit. Get yours now at LarryElderShop.com and use promo code ELDER25 to save 25%. Wear it proud, stand your ground, and remember, we've got a country to save. Finally, ouch.
Wait, it gets worse. I'm not watered down, so I'm dying of thirst. Coming through with the scam. Plan, what's make the noise? Just
say, buddy, can you lend me a hand?
You know I gotta get out, but I'm stuck so tight. Wait by the chains that keep me hanging around this town corner. I've been bumming around this old town too long. I've been hanging around this town corner. I've been bumming around this old town for way too long. Well, everybody twist.
I don't know about you, but I'm really looking forward to the next Disney remake.
I got hairy legs that turn blonde in the sun, and the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again.
I have a better idea for the next remake.
Enough is enough! I have had it with these mother snakes on this mother plane!
Is there anyone who cannot do an impression of 4547?
How do you think Trump has done in his first year in office?
Great.
What do you think he's done that's so great?
To save the world.
Can you do an impression of him?
It's gonna be great.
We are gonna build a wall, and it will be huge.
I will build a wall, a big one.
China, China, China. Here's your paper towels.
Can you do an impression of the president for us?
You're fired!
Woke group therapy.
Okay, everyone, welcome. This support group is for people who are so woke that they are finding it impossible to have any fun at all. We have somebody new with us this week, so would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Oscar. I think, like a lot of you guys, for me it started with the little things. Signing an online petition, going to a march. Well, I mean, before I knew it, I was writing to The Guardian about LGBT representation in the Harry Potter books.
Which is shocking, by the way. All right, Lily. We've all read your blog. Don't worry, Oscar. You've come to the right place. All of the young people in this room are ruining their lives by being overly virtuous.
That's actually a microaggression to say young people, because it carries subconscious bias towards the elderly.
Actually, what you're doing is denying agency to the elderly, which is arguably much worse.
See, this is what I'm talking about. You see, it's a slippery slope. 1 minute you're carrying a reusable water bottle, fine, and the next minute you're arguing that water is racist.
Oh my God, is water racist?
No, it's just an example. Right, how did you guys get on with the homework that I set you?
Guys isn't an especially inclusive term.
Not now, Jamie.
By homework, do you mean having to watch that old people sitcom?
It's called Friends, Lily, and you were supposed to watch it and enjoy it.
Well, I tried, but I found it deeply problematic.
Why?
Well, there's the homophobia, the transphobia, the fatism, and the slut-shaming, and could Chandler be any more annoying?
You can't go through your 20s worrying about every aspect of everything. You have to pick your battles. And just remember that it doesn't really matter, because by the time you hit your 30s, most of you are going to be massively right-wing anyway. Have any of you started to think that maybe poor people don't deserve benefits?
No.
Well, watch out for that one, because that's how it starts. Look, I understand this has all been a bit much for some of you, so let's take 5 and have a hobnob.
I find the word hobnob very phallocentric.
Off, Jamie.
Hope you enjoyed We've Got a Country to Save, brought to you by Freedom Chat and AmFed Coin and Bullion. Freedom Chat is true end-to-end encryption, no storage of messages on the server, and no commercial use of user data. That way you can speak freely and message privately. Download the app today and subscribe to my Freedom Chat channel at Larry Elder for exclusive posts and never-before-seen content. We also thank Impactful Pictures, Old Glory Bank, Patriot Mobile, and MyPillow. Be sure to like and subscribe to our podcast. Make sure to follow or subscribe to my channel on whatever platform you are using, whether X, YouTube, Facebook, or Rumble. Please patronize our sponsors so we can keep bringing you these incredible videos. And remember, we've got a country to save.
I always appreciate you.